Alright, hello everyone. I'm here with Oliver too. Me and Oliver go back in the day, but you know, for people who don't know, Oliver is a former Rookie of the Year. He's also a former Constructed Master, if I'm not mistaken. You have like 9 GP top 8s and you have a 3rd place finish at Worlds. And you currently work as a game designer at Wizards.
Yep.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. What about you?
Well, given that Corona is around, I'm doing pretty well, I guess. But you know, it could be better. But I guess that's true for everybody. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So where are we going to start? Maybe we should start with how did you start playing Magic? You know, maybe you started in school, just like. You know, I know your story a little bit, but a lot of the people who watch maybe don't. So if you can just like talk about yourself, how did you start? How did you get to the Pro Tour and stuff like that? So just go ahead.
So I started by watching some kids play Magic in my summer camp during like 5th grade, I think. So a really long time ago. I was really young. So the game really interested me, mainly because the art on the cards is really cool.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I didn't really understand how to play at first, so I just kind of bought some cards, and then I played with my brother a bit, and we kind of just like made up rules that kind of made sense as we went along, because we're really young and didn't exactly know like all the intricacies of Magic, given that's a really complicated game. But we had a lot of fun doing that, and eventually I got way more invested in the game and started playing at like FNM and stuff, and started to learn how to actually play the game. And I played with like really crappy decks at first, but I kept on getting better as I kept on going to FNM. Because even though I was losing a lot at FNM, I was still like really addicted to the game. So I keep on playing, keep on improving, and eventually got like better cards and would eventually start winning more. And when I got on the Pro Tour, I actually took like a bit of a break from Magic during my freshman year. But like or freshman year of high school, but at the end of the year, I started getting more involved and decided to. Well, I started playing a lot of like Magic Online and stuff, which really helped me get better in a competitive sense. And then I played in a GP in Providence, which is pretty close to me. It's like an hour away, and I top 8'd that GP with a cool deck that no one else was really playing. It was 5-color dragons, and this was during.
Oh, was it like the deck with like Den Protectors?
Yeah, Den Protector, Ojutai. It was basically green-black, mid-range, splashing like Ojutai and other cool dragons using Sylvan Caryatid and Haven of the Spirit Dragon. So it was a really cool deck that caught a lot of people off guard. And it was actually like pretty easy for me. I don't know, I found the GP pretty easy and top 8'd, but then I got pretty unlucky in the quarterfinals and lost, but I still qualified for the Pro Tour, which is really cool. And I was really excited about. But then I ended up not doing great in the Pro Tour. I think I had like an even record or something at the end. I day 2'd, which is decent, but I was hoping to do better. But then I ended up qualifying for the next Pro Tour by winning a Cube Mox, where I actually beat LSV in the finals, and that was really exciting. Yeah, I think I'm like one of the only people to qualify for a Pro Tour off of Cube, so that was dope. And then I qualified for the next Pro Tour, and then ended up top 16ing that Pro Tour, which qualified me for the next one. And then after that point, I was able to stay on the train for like.
Yeah, I actually think you were like 13th 2 Pro Tours in a row, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it ended up getting platinum the year and getting Rookie of the Year. So basically went as well as it could have gone.
I want to ask about like the rookie stuff more, but you mentioned the fact that you really, like the reason why you got into Magic was the art on the cards, which I think is not very common, at least for like, you know, maybe it is common for other people, I don't really know, but like my friends usually aren't like that. It's just like very interesting to me. Most pros aren't like that, I guess. Is that still the case until to this day? Like, do you maybe care about like the lore in Magic, or is that just like that was the first intention but you don't care anymore?
I mean, keep in mind that I was like 11 years old at the time.
Sure.
So as an 11-year-old, just seeing like all those like monsters and stuff was really intriguing. Like I was too young to actually like, like I said, fully understand the rules and get intrigued based on like the intricacies of Magic. So the thing that I most understood was just the art, and I was really like into fantasy, that kind of like art stuff at the time. So I don't know, like what you said is true, but also I feel like most of the people that you're referring to didn't really get into the game as young as I did. Like I feel like anyone in my age group at the time, like 11 to 13 years old, would have probably most been interested in the art and the cards, because that's just like the coolest thing if you don't really understand the rules at all.
I never actually really liked the art on the Magic cards that much. That's why it's like interesting to me. Like if I was just going for the art, I would probably choose like Pokemon or whatever. But
Okay. Yeah, I just found the Pokemon cards to be too goofy. I was more into like the serious kind of art that Magic cards offered.
do you like the old art more, or like do you still like the way they make the art right now?
I think the art now is better. I mean, the old
Alright.
art is like some of the art's like really iconic and stuff, but I'd say like on average the current art is better, just because they have more like they use computers more and stuff, and they tend to hire, I say, better artists at the time. Obviously, there's exceptions to that, but I'd say on average the art right now is pretty great.
So we kind of got away from from what you were talking about. You became Rookie of the Year. I just want to ask about it because you know not that many people can accomplish that, because obviously you can only accomplish it like once in your life. Like I think the first time you qualify for the Pro Tour, that's the year when you can become Rookie of the Year, right? So like, you know, once that's gone, you can never really accomplish that again. What was going through your head when that happened? Did you maybe got cocky because of that? Like, did it maybe play like a bad influence on you in the future? Like, you just thought that, you know, I'm the greatest or whatever, or like, you know, just tell us what was going through your head when that happened.
Well, I was really fortunate to get it because the way I qualified for the Pro Tour is like at the perfect time. Like I qualified for the first Pro Tour that season, so I was just able to string together all the Pro Tours for that season. Like if I had ended up qualifying for a Pro Tour like 2 Pro Tours later, it would have been basically impossible to get Rookie of the Year. I mean, I'd say I got a little bit cocky, but I also think I would have been a little bit cocky even if I didn't get Rookie of the Year, just because I was doing so well and like I qualified for Worlds like my first year of playing Magic. But I don't think like that had any detrimental effects on my career or anything. Like I don't think I started like playing worse or preparing worse because of it. I mean, it just kind of made me feel good as a Magic player and made me feel like I had a chance to become a pro Magic player. Especially based on how young I was, because like
You were like 18 or something?
Huh?
You were like 18 or something at that point?
Yeah. I was still in high school at the time, and like I was playing with people that were like 30 years old or whatever. So it was kind of hard not to get cocky, given how young I was and what my competition was looking like. And plus, it didn't help that like a lot of like the pro players that I talked to like respected me a lot and thought I was a really good player. So obviously, since I was pretty young at the time, that starts to get to your head a little bit.
You know, we've talked a lot. We actually even been in the same team for like 2 Pro Tours or something. I don't really remember anymore. But from my understanding, you never actually really cared about Magic that much. Like being a pro Magic player wasn't like something that you like pursued or like perceived as like something that you really want to go for. Maybe because it just like, you know, it doesn't really have that bright of a future, especially if you're American. You know, if you're like from Czech Republic and none of the jobs pay you anything, it might be better, but for American it might not be the case. Would you say that's like accurate? Because from my understanding, you just kind of like had all these results because you're just very smart and you were playing well, but maybe you just didn't care that much. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I cared. I'd say I cared a lot, but that didn't exactly like transfer to my preparation. I definitely could have been preparing better for tournaments, but it also didn't help that like a lot of Magic tournaments are in really cool places like Japan or Hawaii or whatever, or like Spain. So a lot of the time, once I went to these places to quote unquote test, I would just end up wanting to just, you know, hang out and stuff instead, because, you know, I hadn't been to like these cool places before and wanted to experience them. But I mean, yeah, that's true to a degree, but it also was the case that it was kind of, like you said, being a pro Magic player didn't pay very much at the time, because this was before like the MPL and stuff. So like even being like a platinum level pro, if you weren't doing exceedingly well in tournaments, it wouldn't be able to be a full-time career. So maybe that affected me so much, but I mean, I really loved the game and really wanted to do well in it and improve myself. But had I known that like the MPL and stuff would end up being a thing, I probably would have tried harder, because that's actually like a plausible career path. But at the time, I couldn't really see into the future, so maybe that affected my preparation somewhat. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, because like the year that you made Rookie of the Year, you as you said, you were still in high school, but you know, I assume you went to college after that. Like, did you maybe start playing less because of that?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely hard to play a ton during college, because I had a lot of like schoolwork and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I mainly went to college because, yeah, like you said, I didn't really see pro Magic as something that I could rely on. So I wanted to have a backup plan in case it didn't work out. So it just felt like the responsible decision. But yeah, definitely if I hadn't been going to college and just been preparing for tournaments all the time, it's possible I could have done better and maybe would have been in the MPL or whatever at the time. But, you know, that's all hypothetical and hard to say.
But even when you went to the college, one of the years you actually made, I think, well, if the information on the internet is correct, you made 6 GP top 8s in 1 year. I think you had the most of anyone in that year. So maybe it didn't affect you as much. Like, I don't know, 6 GP top 8s is a lot. Yeah,
but I mean, I didn't prepare much for those GPs. I just kind of picked that I liked, and some of them were like limited GPs. So I really didn't do much preparation for those. I think it was just a combination of generally just being better than my opponents, and I was getting lucky. But I also, like, basically GPs were my preparation for GPs. I was basically just playing like in standard GPs, I was always playing blue-white control. And by playing a bunch of GPs with blue-white control, I ended up getting really good with it, even though I wasn't really preparing much outside of that. So I think just by sticking to like one deck I knew well, and also there were a bunch of team tournaments during that year, and having good teams also helped a lot. So I'd say it's like a combination of all those factors that led to me doing that well that year in GPs. But yeah, I definitely wasn't preparing a ton for most of them.
Recently you joined Wizards. I think you're a game design, like are you in the testing team that just like makes sure that none of the formats is broken or whatever?
Yeah, play design.
Yeah. Can you maybe talk about that decision? Because I think that if you join that, you can no longer play tournaments and stuff, right? So I don't know if you care about that or not, but if you can just talk about it a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in a different situation, it would have been a lot harder for me, but it was actually a pretty easy decision for me, because I wasn't part of like MPL or Rivals or anything, and I wasn't qualified for like any upcoming tournaments. So basically, I would most likely not be playing tournaments anyways, because I didn't want to have to go through like the whole PTQ thing again. I already did that before, and it's pretty miserable, and I don't really have like the, you know, competitive drive to do that right now. And also, I just wanted to get a real job and have a real salary and not have to rely on getting lucky in Magic tournaments anymore. So once the opportunity came, it was a pretty easy decision for me. But had I been in like Rivals or something, it probably would have been a little bit tougher, but I probably would have came to the grown-up decision and decided to go to Wizards anyways. I mean, it's awesome being able to play Magic and, you know, get a real salary for it, and, you know, have some more structure to your life than Pro Magic gives you.
Yeah, I mean, you're not there for like a very long time, right? I think it's like 2 months or something.
Yeah. I've only been there for 2 months.
Yeah, is the job maybe different than you expected, or is it the way you expected it to be? Like, can you just maybe describe how your day looks like? What is going on there?
Yeah, I'll try to say what I can say.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Obviously, if there's like stuff you can't talk about, just don't talk about it. It's fine, of course.
yeah, I mean, it's basically just a mix of play testing, building decks, and meetings. Like, we work really far in advance, so a lot of the cards we're working with are like, you know, not going to come out for like a couple of years or something. So it takes a lot of adjustments to getting used to like a whole new format and building decks for this new format. But most of it is, I'd say, just meetings mainly and discussing various things, working on sets, working on individual cards, you know, nerfing cards if we think they're too strong and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's basically what you'd expect it to be. It's well,
I don't really know, you know, so I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah, so basically it's honestly kind of like being on a Magic testing team, except you're working with like all new cards, and then you also have like a bunch of like quote unquote, you know, corporate like meetings where you're just like discussing Magic as a whole and like, you know, how to get money and stuff. How to sell product and trying to make the best product possible.
Is that something that you would like to do for a long time, or do you see it more as like a bridge and like a good opportunity right now, but maybe you want to do something else in like 3 years, or maybe you don't know right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely something I want to do in a long time. I mean, I love Magic, and you know, being able to make a career out of it is great, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So I'll definitely try to work there as long as I can, as long as you have an opportunity to. But I've really enjoyed working in game design so far. So even if like the Magic thing doesn't work out, I'd hope to get another job in game design. Hopefully using the experience that I got here to help me move forward in that field.
Do you still enjoy playing Magic? Like, you know, you were probably working a lot and you just like always think about Magic, maybe play Magic a lot. Do you still like sometimes come home and just play Arena or for fun, or is that just like not happening anymore?
I mean, not really now. Like I'm not really interested. I've already played like all the formats on Arena right now, and I don't really have interest to. But maybe once like Kaldheim comes out and stuff, I'll start being interested in playing Magic right now. But right now, Magic's kind of in a weird place for me because I've basically, like, the format's still the same as it was before I entered Wizards, and I already, like, played that format a bunch and have watched it a bunch, so right now I'm not really interested in playing Magic in my free time, but as new stuff comes out, maybe I'll get re-interested in playing Magic in my free time. But yeah, like you said, you know, I'm just working on Magic for, like, 8 hours, 9 hours a day, so you know, that definitely makes you less likely to want to play Magic during your free time. But I definitely enjoy playing like other games in my free time instead.
It's just an interesting thing for me, right? Because the way I perceive most pros is that, I mean, obviously they like to play Magic, but usually they like really like to play it on like the high level, trying to figure out how to beat the opposition in tournaments and stuff. And then maybe just playing only for fun is like not actually that much fun anymore. So I just wanted to ask if that's the case for you, or if you just always played for fun and like the competitive aspect for just like an additional value, but it's not like the most important thing for you. I don't know.
Yeah. I honestly, I was kind of trending towards more playing Magic for fun even before I got into Wizards, because with COVID and everything, I really didn't enjoy online tournaments as much as real life tournaments.
Yeah.
Because the main appeal for real life tournaments to me was going to cool places, which was kind of trending down even before COVID, but that was like the main appeal of it for me. And then B, also seeing like all my Magic friends and stuff, which that I only get to see like 4 times a year or whatever, like yourself. So so just the trend towards only online tournaments made me a lot less interested in competitive Magic, even before I had the opportunity to work at Wizards.
Do you maybe think you're going to go to like GPs even though you can't play, just to like be able to hang out with people?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say given the situation, but I would like to hang out with people. But the thing about GPs is I would always get like sick after GPs, which was really miserable.
What do you mean? Like you just got ill?
Yeah, like I would like have a runny nose. I would often have like a sore
Well, that's
throat
weird.
for like yeah a few days after. Some call it the GP plague, which I think is a pretty accurate name. That consistently happened to me. Which,
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be GPs, right? You can also go to PTs. I didn't like specifically meant GPs, like any tournaments.
It tended to happen to me more at GPs for some reason. Maybe because there's just like way more people in there. So yeah, I mean, I would like to avoid that if possible, but it's definitely possible that I'll end up going to GPs anyways. I mean, it's hard to say now, but I could definitely see myself going to GPs to hang out with people. But the thing is, like, people don't even like travel to GPs anymore because a lot of the pros don't really have incentive to go. So I don't even know like how many of my friends will be at a given GP in the future. So it's hard to say now.
That's sad, man. Maybe we'll never see each other again.
Yeah, damn. It sucks to think about. Hopefully.
What did you say?
Hopefully, at some point we'll be able to.
I think I've asked most things that I wanted to ask about, but maybe there's still something that you want to say. I don't know.
I mean, could I ask you?
Yeah, sure. Questions? I mean, you can also ask me. You can also ask me after we like finish this. I don't know, but
okay, yeah. I mean, how's your relationship with Magic going? Like, what are you up to?
Well, I'm buying and selling Pokemon and Magic cards right now, so that's like my biggest relationship right now. But I also like in free time, like I play like the qualifiers and stuff. But similarly to you, I don't really want to go through like the PTQ grind anymore.
Yeah.
Especially when there is like no gold level or whatever, it just seems like super hard to qualify. You like have to try really hard. You probably won't anyway, and even if you do, the reward isn't really there. So I feel like to be able to like really succeed at Magic, you kind of have to like need the fire inside of you, like the burn that like makes you try super hard, and I just don't really have that right now. Yeah. But I am still playing a lot. It's just that I think it's very similar to what you said. So.
Yeah, it's tough to have the fire right now because it's just so hard to like break into the league systems, like to break into Rivals or MPL if you aren't already in there. So like I basically lost the fire because it was such a stretch to end up getting into one of those leagues that it's like the grind.
Yeah, like before, if you like, you know, if you're like sitting on like 28 points, you know, for people who don't know, for 35 you get gold, and you like go to a GP. You like really want to do well, and even if you like X3, you like feel pretty good about yourself, you know, and stuff like that. And like, you know, people around you, like, you know, it's a real life tournament, so like tell you did well, you got closer to your goal or whatever. It just makes you try very hard. But now you're just like sitting home playing, no one really even knows about you. You're probably gonna like, even if you do well, you like lose in the top 8, you don't qualify for anything. It just like sucks. I don't know. I don't really, yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, that's what got me really disinterested in the competitive scene. So I was pretty thankful to get the opportunity to work at Wizards. So
but maybe it's only because of Corona. Like we don't know for sure how the situation would look like if that wasn't the case. Maybe it would be better. Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. The organized play system was put in a tough situation because of Corona, and you know it's hard to give. You can't really give them a hard time because, you know, I think they did a pretty decent job with the situation they're put in because, you know, they couldn't anticipate this or anything. And
like, I think that if Corona didn't happen and like all the arena tournaments were still like paying infinite, MPL would pay infinite, and you would still like have GPs that maybe give you like these percentage slots or whatever, it would be fine. It would be pretty much the same thing as before, but you would have this like dream going that you can go for, right? But as it is right now, like we just don't have any of that, so like but maybe in like a year, you know, the spark will come back, but as of now I don't really care that much.
Yeah, no, I hope things improve once the Corona situation goes down, and I think it will. Yep, hopefully.
All right, guys, if you like the video, please click on the like and subscribe button. Thanks, Oliver, for your time, and bye.
Thank you.